Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Football. My name is John Halpin, alongside my partner, Chris Palmer. Happy New Year, my brother.
Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas to you, my friend. I hope everybody watching had a happy and safe holiday, had a happy and safe New Year. Before we get started, please leave a like and subscribe to the page so we can keep the entertainment going. John Halpin, I hope you had a great New Year's.
I did, my friend. Thank you so much, and I hope you did as well. And man, it is good to be back. We have missed some time due to technical difficulties on my end. I think I've had connection issues. Fingers crossed that this episode is able to go through and you guys are all able to see it, because we did miss some time in the NFL. There was a lot that happened throughout this month of December. So Chris Palmer, we're going to do something a little different. Are you ready for this? We're going to do headlines of major NFL stories. What do you think about that, my friend?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Even though we haven't been recording, we have been paying attention, guys. So I hope if you haven't, we will do our best to try and pretty much generalize what has kind of been happening in terms of the bigger on-field stories.
Yeah, so we will, again, these are stories on the field. And I think let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs, where Kansas City Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs. They have been for a couple weeks, but not only that, Patrick Mahomes went down against the Chargers with an potential ACL and MCL injury as well. He's going to be recovering this offseason. But again, first year since 2014, the Chiefs won't be in the playoffs.
Yeah, 9 straight years that this fucking franchise has been there. And listen, you hate to see injuries happen, but you and I have been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, if not longer. Sooner or later, someone huge is going to go down because of these fucking off-field injuries. And now look at Mahomes. It was a non-contact injury that brought him down, if memory was correct.
It was non-contact. He was trying to run to his right and make a throw as he was running, but he planted his foot just a little wrong, and it's
still non-contact, though. He was not.
Exactly.
So maybe now they will realize that there's a problem with the way the field goes. But with that being said, I still stand on my bold prediction that we have seen the Chiefs' last Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes' last Super Bowl.
Well, this year it proves true, because they are completely out, and which means that there have been other teams that have resurged as well. But I also just want to talk briefly that the Colts had a similar fate to the Chiefs as well. At the time that we last recorded, the Colts were dominating the AFC, and we spent a good amount of time talking about it, but Daniel Jones goes out with another non-contact ACL injury and is out for the year, and the Colts have been eliminated from playoff contention as well.
Didn't he tear his Achilles?
Ooh, I think
it was Achilles tear.
It was an Achilles tear.
It was an Achilles tear because he was playing for 3 weeks on a fractured leg.
Yep.
See, that one, I don't want to sound cold here. I don't feel as bad as I do for seeing Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was, up until that point, as far as we knew, was 100% playing. Mm-hmm. And it just, spur of a moment, it was done. Daniel Jones was on week 4 of playing on a fractured leg with a pad that was keeping his leg held together. Mm-hmm. The body needs to compensate for injuries. If you're favoring one leg, the other leg is going to do what it can to try and pick up that slack. It was only a matter of time till something else happened to Daniel Jones with one of his legs, if not the both of them. Now, again, you hate to see injuries happen. That Achilles injury could have been prevented if you keep it in the player's hands, they're going to play. That one much is clear. The medical staff of Indiana should have looked at him and been like, your leg is broken, you cannot play. Doesn't matter the alternatives that you have. You have a 3D printed pad that you let your college roommates make you, that you played with when that happened to you in college. This is not college football. Every single person that you're playing with is an All-American runner-up or an All-American. You're not playing people who will never play the sport again like you will in college. You need to take care of yourself. You cannot put it in the hands of yourself. The trainers need to fucking be able to take responsibility for your players as a franchise and be like, you are too injured to be on this field. So I hold accountability totally in the Indiana athletic staff for putting it in Daniel Jones's hands.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's well said. And I agree with you, because it's like they got to look out for the betterment of the player. And if the player doesn't have the betterment of himself, then that's when the medical staff needs to intervene and be like, look, you can't. Like, you should not be there. And I think that that's the whole general consensus of Daniel Jones, where it's like he was injured before he stepped on the field that day to play that game before his Achilles tore, and he should not have stepped on that field to begin with. But it is what it is, right? can't go back in time and undo it. So Daniel Jones, unfortunately, he is also going to have a long off season to recover and get back to where he was. And hopefully the Colts do want to stick around with Daniel Jones because he did, I don't know, at least in my opinion, kind of proved himself to be capable under Shane Steichen. But we'll see
He
what
earned himself
direction they
another
go.
year.
I think so, absolutely. So best of luck to Daniel Jones on recovery. And one other big injury that did happen in that time frame, and that was Micah Parsons of the Green Bay Packers. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was also a
That was
non-contact
it was.
ACL injury. Yep.
He was coming off to shed a block and he just went down. That was non-contact. Again, it's the treatment of these fucking players when it comes to this turf field is criminal.
Mm-hmm.
It's criminal. These players, especially again now, we're talking about superstars now. Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones, who's at the front of Indy, Micah Parsons, who came in and was an instant game changer when it comes to that Green Bay defense. And now they went ahead and they got Trayvon Diggs off waivers.
Just yesterday,
So,
if I'm not mistaken.
Just yesterday.
Yep.
Just yesterday, they picked him up off waivers. So you could have had the dynamic duo from Dallas. When they were together, they were playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
So Micah Parsons not being on the field is going to hurt. And it does hurt. They've been feeling it since he's been hurt.
Yeah, they really have. Their defense has really let up a lot of points and a lot of yardage since then. Green Bay also played themselves out of their division, so they will be in the playoffs, but only as a wild card. However, the bigger story in the NFC North is more so the emergence of the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, who have, for the first time since 2018, won the NFC North, and Bears have 12 wins so far this year. That impressive stuff. And man, I know Green Bay Packers fans hate that last game they had against Chicago where Caleb Williams just threw a fucking bomb in overtime to win that game and secure that division. What a game.
Yeah.
What a year
that was
for
a great
Bears.
That was a great game to watch, but if you really break that game apart, nothing against the way Caleb Williams played. He did not play to that level until about 2/3 of the way through the third quarter. So for the first 2/3 of that game, that was all Chicago's defense, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to give my credit where credit is due. I'm giving that all to Ben Johnson. The way he has formulated that locker room, he has turned them into a fucking force. And I will make the unpopular opinion now. Without Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams would not be where he is right now. Them two getting on the same page was the best thing that could have happened for Caleb Williams' career. And with that, they will be off to the races.
I 100% agree with you, man, because they have looked so impressive the last couple of weeks. And I got to ask you, Palma, because I know at the beginning of the year, I know you weren't too hot on Caleb Williams. What has he proved to you in this time?
He has definitely shown improvement. I will give him credit where credit is due. He has shown improvement. He is doing the right thing. He can follow a scheme. He is still making some mistakes, but of course, they will dissipate as time goes on. You can't play perfectly all the time, right? You need to come out of the gate strong. That he needs to learn to develop more. Not being able to turn it on until halfway through the third quarter of a really close game that you need to win. You can't be over-reliant on your defense in the beginning of a game. You more so want to be able to lean on your defense at the end of a game to close out versus to keep a game within reach to grab at the end. So I think that needs a little bit more work. He still has troubles throwing on the rush. He has troubles standing in the pocket, holding the ball too long, but when he does get time and he does everything right, he looks good. He has a very strong arm. He has very good progression reading. Sometimes they take a little too long for my taking, but his progression reading is getting there. He is showing a lot of true development in a very short amount of time, so I will give him that.
Yeah, he's looked really, really good this year. And again, for everything that you've said too, like being able to read the progressions, understand the scheme. And again, the Bears seem to have, they're better on script than they are off script. However, they have gotten better off script as well, and which is really, really good. But I think they do have a big Achilles heel, and that is if you're getting pressure on Caleb Williams and make him uncomfortable, then he's more susceptible to his efficiency drops. He's more susceptible to turn the ball over. So all credit where credit is due with the coaching staff, where it's like, again, this whole team, offense, defense, special teams, has played very well at complementary football. And that's the best thing that you and I have said over the last couple of years, where it's like, The teams that we see in January and February are the teams that are able to play complementary football. Have your defense work for the offense, have your offense work for the defense. Make sure the efficiency of special teams is there. And teams that do that, much like the Bears, they get 12 wins. Other teams that have that, because we've had other emerging teams this year, are the Bears, the Patriots, and the Broncos. And the Seahawks, too. The Seahawks have also emerged as well under Sam Darnold as well. Then there's so much healthy competition within these since we talked about the Seahawks, let's just go right there. Seahawks centers next week, they play, or this upcoming week 18, they play for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Absolutely wild to think about. And this is Sam Darnold's second year where the final game of the season determines the first seed in the NFC.
Well, it's his second year in a row with 13 wins. It's his second 13-win season with a different team. First of all, I hope the Vikings are kicking themselves every day for getting rid of the quarterback that brought you 13 wins. I understand you drafted J.J. McCarthy. You want to see what he can do. Fine. You got to keep your safety net. You put essentially your rookie out there with no fall safe. And guess what? He was injured 4 times this year, 2 of which were concussions. So, and you got to look at it in a holistic sense. When you look across the board, the development of quarterbacks is on the massive decline. You have to be able to really work with a young quarterback and get him ready to where he needs to be. So that's why now you're seeing Sam Darnold get 13 wins, because no one had the time. No one had the time to develop him. That's why you see your Baker Mayfields and your Sam Darnolds and your Daniel Joneses. Mm-hmm. And now you see your Justin Herberts. And now you see Jordan Love. And now you see Trevor Lawrence. Because the development of the quarterback has declined so much. They're expecting 19-year-olds to be able to play against 30-year-olds who have been in this league for a minute. But now you look at the other side and you see the quarterback that has been developed over the years. Look at Drake May.
Which I'm glad you brought him up too, because again, another headline is the MVP race is down to 2 people, Drake May and Matt Stafford. And you can make an argument for both, but to your point, like Drake May still has 70% completion percentage for the year, and he has brought the Patriots to their first division title since Tom Brady left. They are pretty much locked at this point in time. Either the Jags, the Broncos, or the Patriots can take first seed, but Patriots will be first or second seed, which is crazy to think about. And that's all thanks to, again, the development of Drake May. And like you and I have talked about over the years too, it's like finding the right coach for your team and what you're trying to do. And as, again, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Kyle Shanahan, all contenders of head coach, you could also put Mike Vrabel there. And Mike Vrabel has really brought New England back to life, back to contention. And again, like you were saying before, I think it was like week 7, week 8. I don't think anyone's ready to see a Patriots team resurge back to the AFC.
I feel like people are still underselling this Patriots team because of who they beat. You know, they only have 2 wins against teams against 500. Look away from the record for a second and look at the tone in which they're beating these teams. It'd be different if they're blowing everybody out. It doesn't matter who they're playing. Under 500, above 500, playoff team, not playoff team. They don't give a shit. They're putting up 35 or more a game. No one can stop Drake May. That defense is disgusting. The Patriots are for real, and it's time for people to stop lying to themselves. I understand it has not been a long time since the Patriots were the fucking bane of the existence of the NFL fandom, but no one could beat the Chiefs out, so the Patriots had to come back in. It seemed what fucking happened here.
Well, Patriots and the Broncos.
The Broncos makes me so happy.
To me, well, before we get to the Broncos, I will say this about the Patriots. Me personally, I'm not too sold on the Patriots as well for what you said before. Again, strength of schedule. However, you can't pick who you play, right? So you play who's ahead of you. But to your point, though, they do have every game they have looked impressive. And there's not one game that you could turn to, maybe say week 1 against the Raiders where they had a bad game. But since then, every game has been a team win.
Right, it's just clean football.
Clean, complementary football. And the fact that Drake May is being efficient with the ball, 70% completion percentage, looks like fucking like tip Tom Brady out there, for being honest there. Like, he's looking really fucking good. Actually, I'd kind of more so compare again like to Drew Brees with his
I would put him in the Drew Brees because of precision.
Yeah, because I kind of see him as that, but like again, playmaker, strong arm, accurate passer, understands the defense, and he's only in year 2. So he is in contention for MVP, along with Matt Stafford, who has over 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. But the Rams have kind of slid a little bit over the last couple weeks. And Drake May has, again, won a lot of big games these last couple weeks. And I believe they do play against Miami this Sunday. So we'll see how, I mean, they'll probably will win that game, but we'll see how they do it. And
So
how they look going into the playoffs.
In terms of that race, Stafford and Drake May,
Mhm.
I would probably give Stafford the MVP, but I think Drake May would be comeback player, like most improved player of the year, and it's not close.
I mean, you could say that to Bo Nix as well, or Caleb Williams as well. Again, the thing is with this season, it's been very unpredictable because again, we've had multiple teams emerge and a multitude of teams having success, and so no matter who you say, right, you can make an argument for Bo Nix, Drake May as most improved player of the year. You could also make the argument for Matt Stafford and Drake May for the MVP. There's no wrong answer. I think the only general consensus answer for defensive player of the year would be Myles Garrett, who's about to break the all-time sack record with 1 game left. He sits at 22 sacks right now. The record is 22 and a half. So they play against the Bengals. So
Right.
he's probably going to get that. So, but aside from that, again, you could make the argument for these teams, but it's like, there's no wrong answer, and it's just kind of like splitting hairs at that point.
I'll tell you, you know what I'm actually really excited for? I'm excited for the first ever protector of the year.
Yes.
I want to see what the requirements to get that are.
I want to see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I want to see the whole layout of how they're going to try and judge the best offensive lineman this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see who's going to be the first.
I want to see it too, because there's a lot of great offensive linemen out there.
I think at this point it's Joe Alt. The way he fucking blocks people, it's out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't argue against Joe giving that to Joe Alt. I'd just toss in maybe Lane Johnson as well, because he's just that fucking
Lane Johnson's great. And if the kid from the Patriots, the rookie, wasn't injured, I'd probably put him in that conversation too.
Also, Joe Tooney, who just
does
nothing but wins Super Bowls.
Just melts people and wins Super Bowls.
Oh my god. Again, there's no wrong answer because there's so great to see a lot of these players and a lot of these teams have success. And again, I'm excited for who they announce as Protector of the Year as well. That's been a long, long overdue award as well.
I'm waiting for that for fucking 10 years.
Absolutely. I do want to briefly mention, too, also the rise of the Broncos, the Denver Broncos in the AFC. Right now, at this current point in time, the Broncos have the number 1 seed in the AFC. If they beat the Chargers this upcoming week, they are locked into that number 1 seed, and they get the bye. So Sean Payton, Bo Nix, what a great combo. But a lot of their success also has to do on the success of their defense as well, who sits at 64 sacks on the season. The record is 72. There's 1 game left. Could they do it? Sure. Is it possible? Sure. Probably not. But I mean, 64 sacks for the years
as a team is disgusting.
It's nothing to sniff at. Like, that is an impressive feat for a defense.
How about Bo Nix, man? That kid can fucking play. Kid can play.
It's funny too, because you and we talked about it as the season got on. We're like, I don't know, Bo Nix, he's not looking good. The team is kind of carrying Bo Nix, but in this stretch of time, in our absence of recording, every game that he has played has been his best game of his career, and every game has been better and better for him. Where he's at the point now where it's like, okay, he's the real deal. He's the
truth.
Drake May
he's the truth.
Deal. Caleb Williams is the real deal. And it's like, you look at all these quarterbacks from last year's draft, it's like, god damn, that was Jaden Daniels, who again injured but still fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
we had
CJ Stroud,
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yep.
But even still, it's like the only one who really hurt himself is JJ McCarthy. He's the only one who really put like an asterisk next to his name, because it's like the injuries and the question of if you're actually ready. His development really needs a lot of work, and he needs to pick up a little bit of durability, or he will not survive long in this league.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings sit at 8-8 at the moment, and they've won a couple games against a lot of bad and injured teams. JJ has looked a little bit better since the first week, but not that much, not drastically. And at this point in time, he's also injured. The Vikings last game, they actually started, Bosmer, whatever his name was.
Yeah, an undrafted free agent. He didn't even draft him. Bosmer or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Vikings, again, like you said earlier, they're kicking themselves looking at Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. We're like, damn, we should have just gave him a contract. But no. Or Daniel Jones, because he was also on the practice squad at that point in time, too.
Right. It's up there with like the blunders of the Panthers with when they had was Baker Mayfield, Andy Dalton,
Sam Darnold.
and Sam Darnold.
Yep.
And they decided to keep Bryce Young.
Which, I mean, if we're
I mean,
being
right now
honest,
he's playing for division title right now.
and I'm glad you brought that up because
Which is
heading
fucking
into
crazy.
week 18, the NFC South is going to be decided by either the Carolina Panthers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a winner-take-all game.
I can't believe that my bold prediction of the Panthers stealing that division is right here.
I know.
You should have kept your division, your fucking bold prediction that they were going to be a playoff team.
I should have, and I didn't have the guts for it, but man, part of me kind of wants them to win on Sunday just to see, like, let's see what the fuck they do. And I mean, bless you. And a lot of that too also has to be how, again, in our absence too, the Bucks have really lost a lot of significant games because of a lot of key significant injuries. Bless you.
Thank you.
And like the Bucks have been limping to the last part of this season, whereas the Panthers are, again, a team that's kind of unpredictable because it's like, fuck, bless you.
Damn it.
They beat the Rams, and it's like, but then you lose to the fucking Saints, which honestly, like in our absence too, the Saints have actually been winning games and multiple.
Look
games.
at fucking Shoe. Look at Mr. Shoe.
Fucking Tyler.
Told you, bro, kid can play.
What a fucking.
I told you, bro, kid can play.
I'm so glad, like, to see that though, because that's what the Saints need is some breath of life, and he's
something. He brought a pulse back to New Orleans,
and we gotta ask Kev what he's feeling on that because I'm curious to know what his thoughts are. With
he's still skeptical.
His last name, Shu or Shug?
Show. It's Show.
It's Show. Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler Show.
Yeah, Tyler Show, and it's like he's ready to put a show on in New Orleans, man. It's like okay, it's all right. Well, but I hope for the Saints' sake, they see the potential that you and I see, and they invest in it. You gotta draft a line. You have to get Cam Jordan's replacement. You have to get Chris Olave's replacement because that fucking kid has zero luck when it comes to being a professional athlete. Saw a report today. I sent it to you that he found out today that he has a blood clot in his lung.
Yeah, I saw that.
Career's worth of concussions. Now you have a blood clot in your lung. It's time to step away. It's time to step away from the game. I'm sorry, your body can't handle this sport. So they need to look for his replacement. They need to look for the timely replacement of Michael Thomas. You know, there's a full rebuild coming in New Orleans, but I think the main piece, in my opinion, it may be a little ahead of myself. I think they found it.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that. And part of me, I need to see more of like the highlights and everything like that. I really kind of need to evaluate. But I think the fact that they've won multiple games since he started is a great sign for New Orleans. And again, they kind of put themselves, I don't think that they'll draft a quarterback this upcoming draft because they're not going to be close to top 3, top 5 to do so, which I guess let's lead us to the draft and the draft order of next year, where the number 1 draft will go to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, because the Giants are dumb enough to win.
Yeah, because they had the Tank Bowl last week between the Raiders and the Giants, 2 teams that were 2-13, and the Giants beat the Raiders 34-10. So sealing that the Raiders will be at the number 1 pick, the Giants will be at the number 2, and I believe the Jets will be at number 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Either the Jets or the Titans. I'm not.
Jets, Titans. So, like, those are the 4 worst teams. But the Saints are, again, being that they won a couple games, they kind of...
They'll probably be sitting at, like, 7, 8.
Yeah, so they'll be top 10. But that's if that point in time, if all the, quarterbacks and skill position players are taken, you take the best lineman. You take the best lineman on there. And
I would take the best lineman regardless.
Yeah.
I think you lock in with your quarterback for a year. Give him at least 1 full season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't move on from him, especially if if he ends the season on a win streak. That's earned a full season, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's played 5 games straight.
Yeah,
he's won 4 of them.
Yep.
Right, so he's 4-1 in his last 5. Going into the final game, if let's say he ends 5-1 in the last 6,
mm-hmm.
you, my friend, you deserved a full season. You just earned yourself a full season in my book.
Well, to your point, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you, and I think that there's going to be quarterbacks that are in this league that have accomplished less than Tyler Show and will get a full starting season. And two quarterbacks that come to mind are Jackson Dart with the Giants. I believe that they'll probably keep Jackson Dart and give him a full season starting next year, as well as Shador Sanders as well for the Cleveland. He has started for the Cleveland Browns and inconsistent is probably the best word, but I think that he may have earned himself a spot to get a full season, at least the start for the next year, barring that they don't pull another Deshaun Watson trade deal or something like that.
Right. I agree with that when it comes to Cleveland. I think inconsistent's the word, but he is fundamentally flawed.
Yeah.
To say it the best. Just to be blunt about it, he is fundamentally flawed. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things he cannot do good right now.
He's also got happy feet. That's the thing. Like
oh my god, his such jittery feet, man. He's playing scared and it shows. Mm-hmm. You know, and I get it. He's got to get through the idea of like he's the perfect example of big fish, small pond. Let me explain. When he was in Colorado, it was him, Travis Hunter, and Pops. No one else. So when it was time to put the game on his back, he did. He needs to get through his mind that he is no longer the big fish here and that there's other people that you can lean on in this league and on this team to help you bring you to victory. You don't need to do it yourself, but that's ego talking. And that's something he's always known, is that you need to be this guy. You need to be this guy or that guy. You need to be special at all times. There's a time and place for everybody to show out that they're special. And as soon as he gets that, he will be off to the races. But I don't think the Browns as a coaching, as like a front office, are mature enough to tell him to pump the brakes and let this be a team thing. Because they want him to fucking fail. They've been setting this kid up for fucking failures since the minute they drafted him.
I think
they don't want him in Cleveland. Everybody in that front office wants him to fail because remember, orders start at the top and shit flows downhill. So that shit started up top. And I understand if you really were going to treat this kid like this, then don't fucking draft him. And by what I mean by treating him like this is you give this man throughout the season, you give him the bare minimum of reps with the starters. You put him down to quarterback 4. So he's getting no reps. He's getting maybe backup reps with the secondary team.
Or the practice squad.
You're barely working with anybody. You're barely doing reps. You're doing warm-ups, and then you're standing on the sideline and being a teammate, which is fine. You want to give him that maturity test? Fine. But now, you see Dylan Gabriel can't really do it right. That's a coin flip too with Dylan Gabriel. I like Dylan Gabriel. He's very inconsistent. He's another one who's fundamentally flawed. Very fundamentally flawed. So he starts moving up the board. You get rid of Kenny Pickett. He is now quarterback 3. Dylan Gabriel can't play. He's now quarterback 2. Joe Flacco gets hurt and traded to the Bengals. He is now quarterback 1. Now his first game, the whole week of practice, you don't have him practicing with the starters. You wait until 3 days before the game.
Talk about his first game starting or
his debut as a starter.
Yeah,
his debut as a starter. They waited until 3 days before the game to give him his first amount of practice reps. Mm-hmm. He won that game. He won his debut. He decided to say something. He won his debut.
He had against who?
Pittsburgh, I believe. I believe his debut was against Pittsburgh.
Let me look that up. But go on.
So the Browns are doing nothing to show that they want this kid to succeed as a Cleveland Brown. He has talent, but until they get a GM in the building that is not going to try and sabotage this fucking kid's future, he will not succeed with that uniform on.
You are correct. They did win his debut. It was against the Raiders. They won
the Raiders.
24-10 in his starting debut. However, he did play the week prior against the Ravens. Came in the fourth quarter, but that's not like his start. His
starting debut.
Yeah.
But you waited all week to run a full practice with him. Drills here and there, but you didn't run a full scrimmage practice until 3 days before the first game that he started. What is that? This guy has no live reps going into his first game? You know what I'm like? Come on. Garbage time reps versus starting reps? Different. Totally different. You can't tell me otherwise. So for him, yeah, he's earned another start. His future in Cleveland will not be long if they continue to do what they do with him.
Yeah, Cleveland's a very interesting organization because, again, they're willing to pay out the players that they like, such as Myles Garrett, locking him down for a couple years and paying him that exorbitant amount of money, but rightfully so. I mean, he's proven that he's earned it, right? Shador has, again, just proven that he's able to take the starting role for Cleveland. If he was in any other team other than Cleveland, his starting position would be very contentious.
For sure. It's contentious in Cleveland.
Exactly.
They just don't have anybody who's better than him at the moment.
And that's my point. So it's like they just don't have anyone better. So it's like, look, at this point in time, he's better than nothing starting for the Browns next season. But I think that the Browns have to ask themselves is like, look, if they want to invest in Shador or not, and they'll have the draft capital they'll be within the top 5, I think.
They'll have a lottery pick.
They'll definitely have a lottery pick within the draft. So they definitely have the capabilities to bolster their team however they see fit. But it's however they see fit, right? It's like they got to ask themselves that question. So we'll have to keep an eye on them going forward. I mean, granted, there are going to be a couple quarterbacks taken before them in the draft. We know that the Raiders are definitely going to be drafting a quarterback first overall. The Jets, more than likely, are going to be drafting a quarterback first overall because this season has been very miserable for the Jets in more ways than one. But for the Browns, again, they'll have to ask themselves, do we want to invest in Shador Sanders? That's the big question. And if so, then it's like, okay, do we want to make sure that we keep Kevin Stefanski as the coach, or do we want to have a different coaching staff? And it really changes, again, the team's dynamic how they want to do that. So, again, there's a lot going to be going on in Cleveland, but mostly in March and April when they have to ask themselves the tough questions come that time. But last headline I want to mention real quick is the New York Jets. The New York Jets are about to have a historic season for all the wrong reasons. They are about to be the first team in NFL history to have 0 interceptions throughout the course of the season. My God. And what's kind of funny about this is that their head coach, Aaron Glenn, was a defensive coordinator. And they have not won this whole season. They play Buffalo this upcoming week. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the backup quarterback for Buffalo or Josh Allen will play.
Josh Allen's playing.
Yeah, Josh Allen will play. If Josh Allen just gives them a freebie, sure. But I say don't do it. I say just run the ball with James Cook this whole fucking game. just to embarrass the fucking Jets.
So I feel like there's a couple of things here. Them not getting an interception this season, I feel like that falls into the conversation that we were having with them a while ago, that the team is playing scared because they're afraid to lose their job, so they're afraid to take risks. Ever since Aaron Glenn fired the fucking young man from special teams for falling out on a fumble. Since then, the whole dynamic of that Jets team has changed. And I've been saying that since it happened. And I think that no interception mark locks onto that because everyone's afraid to make a play because everyone's afraid to make a mistake. Now, so let's say you as a young secondary, you see a ball. It's a 50-50 ball. Am I going to take that chance? Because if he catches it and burns me for a touchdown, I could be fired? Or am I going to wait for him to catch it and make the tackle? And then I know my job is safe, even though they just made 35 yards. That's the game that now these players have to play. Do I play it safe and keep my job? Or do I make a play and help the team? That's the precedent that Aaron Glenn has set. But it also makes me laugh. You and I were talking about this off air. If they do go 18 weeks without an interception, never in my life have I heard of an unbreakable record. Say for this. If they do this and they complete the goose egg for 18, it will never be broken until they extend the season again. So odds are it will not happen in our lifetime ever again. And the best part is that it can only be matched.
Because you can't go lower than 0.
You can't go further than 18, pal.
You can't go further than 18, can't go lower than 0.
So you want to cement yourself this would be cemented as the worst defensive team in history, bar none. Worst secondary ever.
Well, to your point, mate, fun fact that I learned today, for the month of December, the Jets have lost every single one of their games by 23 points or more. Again, we haven't been on the air for a while, but I was like, no fucking way.
So they lost the entire month of December by 3 possessions or more?
Yep.
Oh my God, Aaron Glenn, what did you do? And that's someone who played for the fucking franchise.
Oh my God, bro.
Could you imagine this was like payback for fucking the owner coming in? Because remember, Aaron Glenn played under Woody Johnson. Mm-hmm. He played at the ass end of his career. Woody Johnson came in. Mm-hmm. This is fucking total revenge.
I don't know total revenge. I don't know about that, but I will say.
It's a revenge tour for Aaron Glenn. He's like, I'm going to sabotage this team and make sure Woody Johnson gets fired.
No, Woody Johnson's the owner.
He's got to sell this team, man. It's the only thing that's going to help. It's the only thing that's going to help. Mike and I were actually talking about this off air one night. No era will be able to begin until the Woody Johnson era ends.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter the coach, no matter the regime, it will not matter until you get someone in the owner's box who knows the game of football. Because Woody Johnson is not it. Been saying this joke for a couple weeks now. That man needs to go back to soap because football ain't it.
Well, Jerry Jones needs to go back to oil because he ain't it anymore either.
Well, that crazy old man may have some. You know, he got rid of Micah Parsons, and that defense got better.
It did. It definitely did. But I think that overall, by that again,
He's still a senile old man, and he's got to go.
Yeah,
but
again, Woody Johnson and Jerry Jones, they're left foot, right foot. So it's like until they leave their respective teams, those teams are not going to be anything more than what they are now. And the Jets,
I can agree with that.
And the Jets, for as long as Jets fans have been alive, have been a miserable franchise. And my heart goes out to you Jets and Giants fans, man, because it has been a rough season for you guys this whole year.
So let me ask you, is this a one-off for Aaron Glenn?
If I had to guess and I had put money on it, I'd say yes, because I think Woody Johnson's impatient. And I think that Woody Johnson would be more enticed to have a different head coach, utilize these two first round draft picks for the next 2 years. I think he might see this as similar parallel to say Jerry Jones of the 90s when he got all those picks off the Herschel Walker trade. I think that he might see that as a parallel possibly and want to get the right head coach in. So I think that Aaron Glenn definitely deserves more opportunity as a head coach. I just hope that he finds it somewhere else other than the Jets, because I don't think any coach is really going to have much success with the Jets. How Rex Ryan did, I have no fucking idea.
Well, that's because Rex Ryan is one of the smartest men to ever come in this league, and I will fucking stand on that.
He definitely is.
When it comes to the game, that man's a fucking borderline genius. He is so smart when it comes to... His problem is he can't coach. Mm-hmm. He can teach the game, but he cannot coach people. He tries to be everybody's friend. He isn't, you know what I'm saying? He's too friendly when it comes to Rex Ryan. He seems like he's a great human being. He wanted to be everybody's friend when he was a coach. He had everybody going for a team snack time. Like, he had a very leisure locker room. Mm-hmm. With a team that's in shambles, you cannot have a leisure locker room. He was the extreme on one side. Aaron Glenn is the extreme on another. You know, he was the extreme leisure. Aaron Glenn is the tyrant. Mm-hmm. He came in as a tyrant. He was like, I'm going to have, my fist is going to hit the table. I'm going to be pounding when, like, people are going to get fired, whatever. Both don't work. Both do not work. The positive reinforcement works a little bit better, but that is also because they had a much better roster back then for Rex Ryan to work with. Aaron Glenn came into a Jets team with almost nobody. They got rid of all their focal points on defense with the Williams brothers and Sauce Gardner, and CJ Mosley's on the way out because he's old and he's going to retire. So now he's left with shambles and pieces. You come in and you start making people who already know that their football careers are on the line because of where they are. Mm-hmm. And you start trying to force orders and you're firing people for making simple mistakes. This is the product that you're going to put on the field. It would not surprise me none if he gets taken out of the head coaching spot and really winds up adrift for a couple of years until people can try to reel him in and make him understand that there's a system here and you cannot come here thinking you're going to change things in one day.
Well, I think to your point, I think that, again, he'll just probably go back to being a coordinator somewhere. Someone will take him as a coordinator. And some people are just better coordinators than they are head coaches.
It's like Rob Ryan.
Just like Rob Ryan. Just like Mike McDaniel in Miami as well. Just like Matt Eberflus.
Like Lovey's Matt Eberflus, so, Matt Nagy,
Steve Spagnuolo. So, like, again, these are all guys that, again, are great at what they do. But again, there's a difference between, like you said, teaching and coaching, and that's perfectly fine. I think for the Jets, we're just going to hit the next reset button, like we've seen multiple times before.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's going to be Woody Johnson hitting that reset button again.
Yep.
It needs to be someone else hitting that reset button. That's the ultimate answer here for the Jets.
It should be, but
is that someone else needs to hit that fucking button, and it will never happen.
It'll be a while. It will definitely be a long time before that happens. But I think there was one other headline that I did want to get to, and we did have another game this week that is for all the marbles. The game of the week, the Ravens and Steelers playing for the AFC North. And you know this is the game that we wanted to talk about this week too, because like we were saying for the last 4 months, the season's going to be determined on the last game of the regular season between the Ravens and Steelers in Pittsburgh. But lo and behold, they flexed it to primetime on Sunday night.
We really need to learn to just keep our fucking mouths shut with shit like this.
The way that this season has shaped up for both of these teams has been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy. But again, the trajectories were
almost
verbatim, but like it was kind of opposite, right? Whereas like the Steelers started off like consistently high, and then as the season went on, they dipped lower and lower, right? Especially losing to the Browns last week, 13-6. If the Steelers beat the Browns that game, they would have locked.
It would have clinched, right?
Would have clinched, right? But the Ravens, they started off low and had to really climb their way back up to 8 wins, and here we are sitting at 8-8. Steelers sit at 9-7. We both have a 3-2 divisional record. So the winner of this game wins the AFC North. The loser goes home.
We really need to fucking start keeping our mouths shut and just see how it goes, because calling this shit for like the 3rd year in a fucking row is crazy.
It's wild, but it's how
I may have been wrong.
Should be though.
Right. I may have been wrong on the bold prediction of them getting 2 wins, but I am getting so tired as a Steelers fan, feeling like when we walk into fucking important games, we are limping. And this is just another reason that we are limping toward the finish right now. No DK, suspended for 2 games because he decided to punch a fan in Detroit. Now,
which is another headline, which is fucking wild.
Now, again, if you followed that whole report investigation, this was someone that DK has had issues with even when he was in Seattle. I apparently said something derogatory. I do not blame DK for acting the way he acted after already going through the process of doing it the right way and nothing being done about it. With that being said, you are an $80 million receiver. Your team is in the middle of warm-ups. What are you doing getting away from your team to go and assault someone? You were with your team during pregame warm-ups, and you took it upon yourself to walk over there and grab that man. And then you took a swing at him. Now the Steelers were gracious enough to not void the money they easily could have voided from your guaranteed contract because of that. They threw you a bone because of the situation at hand. Fine. You're mature enough to understand that that wasn't okay. You understand that you are one of the most critical people on the offensive regime right now. You came here under that principle of being one of the most critical people. Because guess what? As soon as you got suspended, our second most critical person, people may not think about it, but Darnell Washington. The reason why I call him critical is because we win 80% of the games that he is on the field for more than 50% of the snaps. Holy shit. It's almost like having a 7-foot, 300-pound tight end as a fucking ace in the hole.
Bro,
that's how big he is. He is 7 foot, 310 pounds.
And it's funny because I think he was like standing next to like a Steelers like running back or something like that. He's just towered over this man. Just towered.
He is the size of a fucking offensive lineman, and he has hands like Rob Gronkowski. Oh, and by the way, you can't tackle the fucking guy. He is 6'7", 310 pounds, listed at 285.
Huge. And he goes.
You understand?
Went out with injury.
And he went out. He just He broke his arm. And he had a successful surgery. He has a rod in his arm now. Great. By the way, we got rid of Peyton Wilson not too long ago. Great. So now we're running with a 2 wide receiver team, Valdez-Scantling, and a rookie that he was either drafted or he was undrafted. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And we still have one tight end. It's going to come down to the running backs and Aaron Rodgers. DK Metcalf, you would have been the sole reason why our team would be able to put up points. Now it's going to fall on the defense to be able to hold Derrick Henry under 200 yards. And the steam that man is under right now, that's one of the tallest orders you can ask, and you're asking for it at week 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Steelers, again, they just really fucked themselves the last couple weeks. Again, just being immature off, DK's immaturity and electing himself out of the last 2 games of the season, which are critical for them to win, right? And because again, you beat the Browns last week, you're in. And the Steelers are just riddled with injuries. Again, TJ Watt has a collapsed lung.
Yeah, so today he's probably going to be back on Sunday. I wouldn't necessarily guarantee it. It was only a partially collapsed lung. But the fucked up part about that, man, is like it happened during acupuncture. Went for sorry, it wasn't acupuncture, it was dry needling. It was a dry needling thing that happened in the trainers did that. That shit didn't even happen during practice. That shit happened after practice. He went for a fucking treatment. Then he's like, I feel pain in my chest. And then lo and behold, his fucking lung was half collapsed. So I wouldn't even blame him for that. That's fucking office stupidity.
Yeah.
If you're going to do shit like acupuncture and dry needling, you need to know where those fucking things go so you don't hurt someone.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, again, not just the Steelers players too, but it seems that the Steelers medical staff too is also not as for the players as they should be, or as attentive as they should be, because that shouldn't have happened, right? That just should not have happened.
Totally preventable.
Totally preventable. It's like, and in his absence, right, the defense has not, I mean, they've not looked as horrendous as they were in the first half of the season. But again, it's a tall order to ask that, again, Derrick Henry coming off a career game of 36 carries, over 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and you're without your best defensive player. That's tough.
Yeah, but okay. On the other side of that coin, before he went down, he was having a career low year in just about everything.
He was, but his presence matters, though.
Presence matters, yes, but when your effectiveness on the field is not the same, your presence now gets muddled. Sure, it is that, you can have the enigma of, oh, that's TJ Watt. But now you're moving later into the season, let's say not week 18, but like week 11, week 12. And for the last 9 weeks, that's not the TJ Watt that was here last year. We can get him. And then lo and behold, you play the game and you got him. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a minute. Where'd he go? Where'd the TJ Watt from last year go? This year, he is not that guy.
You're right. He's not that
guy. He is not that guy. And our defense is not that defense. So I keep referring back to when these fucking people were calling this team an all-time defense. Shame on you. Shame on you for calling this defense an all-time defense. That is a slap in the face to all of the alumni, Hall of Fame alumni of this fucking game, of this team.
Yeah, to say
again,
all-time defense, can we introduce you to the fucking Steel Curtain?
Let's not go that far back. Have you seen the 2008 crew?
Or the 2010 crew?
Or the 2010 crew? Where, again, I agree with Mike Tomlin on this one. That 2010 crew was the reason why we have what we know today as the Player Safety Initiative. You want to talk about a group of people that did not care about body, anything, and when it comes to the physical elements of a body, that was that group. Mm-hmm. That was that crew. That's an all-time defense, where you can look at them and be like, they were one of the most different defenses on the league in the field. Mm-hmm. This Broncos defense will be an all-time defense. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense is one of the worst defenses I've seen in years overall. We're a bunch of very expensive, very post-prime veterans with a bunch of nobodies who have a big name to prove playing together. Fine. You're playing together. How dare you call them an all-time defense?
I think, again, the presence of TJ Watt definitely matters for the Steelers, right? Because when you have a player that's a Hall of Fame caliber player, and throughout his accolades, I would consider TJ Watt a Hall of Fame player, despite, again, not so much the postseason accolades, but like individual accolades of like Defensive Player of the Year, the tying the all-time sack record and stuff like that. That is, well, I mean, soon to be broken by Myles Garrett, but still at the time did it. His presence matters. And when as the opposition team, you have to play and you have to game plan around that player and make sure that you have an understanding of how to get it. Where you looking up like years of his?
I was just looking at his accolades.
Okay, well, like Defensive Player of the Year, sacks record. And shit
he had one Defensive Player of the Year in 2003. He's had four Pro Bowls. He's had 7 Pro Bowl selections. Sorry, all team one time. He's been 7 top 100. Mm-hmm. So his accolades are good.
Yeah.
I love TJ Watt. I think he will be a Hall of Famer one day.
Yes. Maybe not first ballot.
I don't see him as a first ballot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I can agree with you on that.
It will be one day down the road when people start to forget about TJ Watt. That's really what it's going to be.
Sadly. And
you know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. But you still have the game plan for him, though. That's my point. Is like you still have to make sure that there's a plan in place there, because in their absence, then you don't have to spend as much time preparation for, say, the backup for that, right? And prime example too. On the flip side for the Ravens, right? you have to game plan for Lamar Jackson when he's there, right? But when he's not there, it's a very different team. And over the last couple weeks, we have seen the absence of Lamar Jackson and what this team looks like. Now, granted, it's very easy to give Derrick Henry the ball nearly 40 times and good shit happens, but Tyler Huntley is not Lamar Jackson. So the Steelers' offensive game plan is different for Tyler Huntley than it is for Lamar Jackson. And same for, again, the Steelers defense, you have to game plan that differently with TJ Watt there as opposed to not being there.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. But the difference is the preparation from last year to this year is miles in between.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Simply because of on-field production. Mm-hmm. Remember, last year I almost fucking blew a lid when I realized he went 60-some-odd snaps without a defensive snap. Or it was like 200 plus at the end of the year that he went without a defensive snap or some shit like that.
The last 5 games, he did not record a single defensive statistic.
That part.
Yep.
A single defensive stat. And that bled into this year. Mm-hmm. So now, while the game plan last year was to totally conceal him and drive him away, right? You look back at the film from those last games, that was not game plan. That was a personal choice of TJ Watt's. Mm-hmm. You watch it, it was effort. It was an effort thing with him at the end of last year. Bleeding into this year, people know how to prepare for someone who's not putting in the most effort now. Mm-hmm. And they plan it differently, but he is a different player season to season now, and that's what's clear. This year, you don't have to prepare for him like you had to prepare for him in years past. Mm-hmm. This year, he's moving a little slower. He's preparing. He doesn't have as many sacks. He's not getting to the quarterback as often. He doesn't have nearly as many tackles for loss. He doesn't have as many interceptions. He doesn't have any. I don't think he has any forced fumbles on the year. Maybe 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's the overall production changes the way you have to prepare for someone.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree.
So if you make a career of being a menace, like let's say JJ Watt, he made a career of being a menace, where every game you knew for a fact this man's going to get at least 1. Mm-hmm. You will never have to question his effort while watching film. You're looking over here questioning the effort of TJ Watt.
I don't question the effort. I just think now teams are just more prepared for what his skill set allows him to do. And also being injured does not really help.
It does not help
perform at his highest. But I'll be honest, I don't question his effort. I still think that he has to me, and I have the benefit of the doubt for all players, that if you're on the field, you are giving your best effort. And unless seen otherwise, like standing around like Jay Cutler, which is a rare thing, right? But that is a thing though. And but I agree wholeheartedly with your sentiment that he is not the player that we think of him in years past, because this year he is just not producing the numbers that we have expected him over the subsequent amount of years.
Right. So the impact this year is dramatically different, and it's nowhere near as felt on our end. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Alex Highsmith is an unbelievable backup for him.
Oh, absolutely.
I love Alex Highsmith. And Roman Wilson coming in from the middle linebacker spot, he has great potential. So I see a lot of potential with this defense. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was a narrative that went around with him, with TJ Watt, that the Steelers should have dumped him for 2 first rounds. I don't think that was the right decision. I'm glad we still have him. I hope he is a career Steeler moving forward. The production needs to either become smarter or it needs to become heavier. Mm-hmm. If your presence on the field isn't going to be physically effective, you need to be able to mold these young minds with the older guys and get them moving together as a team captain. Now, that's a captain thing between you and Cam Hayward. You guys are both defensive captains. You're both in the second stretch of your careers. You both need to work together to get this team together, to get this team on one page for this last game. 60 minutes left of your season. That's it.
Yeah. And I think, too, the gravity of this game is, again, it's huge, right? Ravens, Steelers, for all the marbles, right? I think for the Steelers, though, the biggest person to gain from this and the biggest person who has to lose from this is Aaron Rodgers in this game. Because if the Steelers are to lose this game against the Ravens, then the Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin project simply failed. Because the whole reason they got Aaron Rodgers was to go on a playoff run. And the fact that they could get that, if they are to lose and could not get into the playoffs, that is a failure. Because otherwise, look, as we talked about before, they better better have a plan for next year. They better be either like on Will Howard, planning to eye someone in free agency or something, because look, this is his once more around the sun. And this could potentially just be Aaron Rodgers' final game, period. So does he want to go out losing to the Ravens and not making the playoffs? No. And that's you didn't go on a losing season, sure, but like again, this whole project that we questioned throughout the year, it could have had a very, very happy ending. Aaron Rodgers wins the division, you go to the wild card, see what happens. Probably get stomped by the Bills, but that's what happens. Like, but you got to the playoffs. It was nice. To not get to the playoffs would be very big on not only Aaron Rodgers but also Mike Tomlin as well. Where it's like, look, you got the quarterback that you wanted, and the goals that the Steelers set for themselves this year were just through their own volition slipped out of their hands because they were leading the AFC North since the last time we recorded, which was the last game that we had of Ravens and Steelers. And they've had that lead. And for them to let it slip through their hands because of injuries, poor decision making against, better competition, and just maybe a combination of all three and bad luck too, sure. But to find themselves in this position was definitely probably preventable.
I agree.
And
100% it was preventable.
The Ravens, we have no right to be in this goddamn position of winning this AFC North title because again, starting off 1-5, horrendous. To then work our way back, and even still, we lost some games that we definitely should not have, i.e. the Patriots game a couple weeks back, where we should not have lost that game if we would have given Derrick Henry the ball just a little bit in the fourth quarter. But no, I'm not going to get there. But the Ravens should not be in this position to be in contention for the division. Steelers should have locked this up a long time ago. And I think that maybe whoever loses this game, I think the team's head coach is going to get looked at under a very different lens of, I know Steelers fans have wanted Tomlin gone, and we've talked about that as well. Ravens fans have also talked about John Harbaugh leaving, especially after this year, because it has been a very roller coaster of ride of a season. There's a lot riding on this game, and a lot of the futures of these two teams really depend on this game in particular. But there's all the glory is going to go to one, and all the shame is going to go to the other, and there's really going to be no in between of that either way.
I agree with that when it comes to the two coaches. The only difference is, in my opinion, John Harbaugh is more fireable than Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, again, I've been talking about the idea of healthy divorce with the Steelers and Mike Tomlin. If it comes down to it and Mike Tomlin's on the board to go, it will not be a firing, it will be a trade. They will try to get him where he wants to be so he can keep his career, and they will get someone in replacement that will have that. That is the way the Steelers function. They usually don't get rid of coaches. They got rid of their first coach in years with Matt Canada during the season, let alone that happened. When it comes to John Harbaugh, in my opinion, I think he is much more fireable simply because of where he's at. Mm-hmm. Because he's in Baltimore, the structure is you're going to work here or you're not. And if you're not going to work here, there's the door. So if both teams, if a playoff run is in their future, the team that makes it on a playoff run, their coach will not be under any type of fire. They will each buy themselves another year at very minimum.
I don't disagree with your point of he is more fireable than Tomlin. I just think that we don't know how trigger ready Eric DeCosta, the owner of the Ravens, is. Or sorry, the general manager of the Ravens is on Harbaugh. Because since the Ravens have come to existence in Baltimore in 1996, we've only had two head coaches, and that is Brian Billick and that is John Harbaugh. And that's it.
Right.
And so, again, much like the Steelers don't really get rid of coaches that much. And as for the Ravens, we've had John Harbaugh since 2008. And look, both head coaches have won Super Bowls. Both head coaches have seen various amounts of success within their respective organizations. And I don't disagree that he's more fireable. I just think that for these organizations, they're going to look and be like, clearly we've been reaching a ceiling of where we're at with the players' capabilities. Why is that? And if they can convince, convince the ownership that their vision is the way for them going forward, then we're just going to keep seeing John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. And personally, I'm not too opposed to that either, because I think that for the Steelers, they just need to embrace the rebuild at some point, right? They just need to embrace that instead of reloading every year, because I think you and I both saw that this Aaron Rodgers experiment too of plug and play with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year, with Kenny Pickett the year before, all this reloading, it's going to lead to a rebuild. Whereas for John Harbaugh, he's got to understand his identity as a team, where it's like, why are we forgetting that we are a great running team? Why does it take so long for you to realize that, like, look, we got Derrick Henry to fucking run the ball? Because in the AFC title game 2 years back, you only gave it to the running backs 6 times. You forgot to run the ball. And
I feel like Harbaugh is having a hard time with the changing of the identity of this team. Now let me explain. Mm-hmm. The identity of your team now is you are an offensive team. The history of the Baltimore Ravens runs from that defense. Mm-hmm. So in the hunt to make you guys such a form-fitted offensive team, the defense has gone damn near forgotten about. Couple of pieces here, couple of pieces there, but that you've been saying it yourself that secondary is fucking terrible. Secondary is crazy. Middle linebackers are all over the place, and now they're starting to play well. But the focus for years has been become an offensive team, become a strong offense, become strong on the run, become strong at quarterback, become strong with pieces. Over the years, you never really heard of the Ravens drafting skill guys. It was, you picked them up more so in free agency through draft, like around in the pool. A couple of people, Anquan Bolden you drafted, but you never drafted him. I thought you drafted him.
He was drafted by the Cardinals, and then we picked.
So you picked him up.
We picked him up in free agency, but we have had drafted skill players within recent years. Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Brashard Perriman.
That's in the hunt to become the offensive team you want to be. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. When in years past it was the defensive draft choices, Haloti Ngata, Patrick Queen,
Suggs,
thank you, Terrell Suggs, Ed Wright. The history of them drafting defensively strong players, the dynamic changed. So now we need to focus more on the offense, but you're forgetting where the foundation of your team came from. Mm-hmm. And that was being strong defense. I remember I heard a story with Ed Reed talking about how they, even if they lost the game, their main goal on defense was to hold the run game under 100 yards.
Yep.
If they did that, they considered it a win. I don't feel that hunger from that defense anymore.
They don't. They definitely don't have that hunger.
You know, I don't feel that hunger anymore, and I miss that from Baltimore, because I missed that from Pittsburgh too, where it was just a hungry defense and a bunch of journeymen on offense that can do it right. Mm-hmm. They do it right on offense, but the defense is where the hunger's at for these two teams. Mm-hmm. I miss that.
Believe me, I miss it too. And I think that, to your point, I think that Harbaugh thinks that his defenses over the last couple years, and I'd say within the Lamar era, right? In the Lamar era of Baltimore.
Last 7 years? I think he's been here 7 years, right?
2018. So 7 going on 8. The defense is not as dependable as it once was before the Lamar era. And I think that that's more so the point of, like, again, Harbaugh has adapted from a defensive-minded head coach. Well, he's a special teams coordinator before he was a head coach. So he was a special teams coordinator, and then he inherited a historic defense of Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata, and then was like, okay, just plug it in the right offensive pieces, hit the right buttons on. Okay, we'll get Joe Flacco, we'll get all these offensive Anquan Bolden, Torrey Smith, Ray Rice at the time. So, and it hit and it worked, and we won the Super Bowl because of that. But now times change, right? The league is more offensive, and I think he has understood that too. Whereas I think it's kind of a balance shift lately, right? Where it's like a couple years, offensive numbers go up and offensive production is high, and then coordinators kind of meet in the middle at some point in the year, and then the defenses start to get better. And I think that we're seeing that this year too, where a lot of the better teams are the ones that have a very complete defense. Broncos, Patriots, especially in the AFC. But to your point, I think that Harbaugh has really, his blinders have just been focusing on the offense.
He's hyper-focused
on
the offense
better. However, again, your defense is not as dependable as it has been when you first arrived. You don't have Ray Lewis. You don't have Ed Reed. And I can promise you, like, Roquan Smith, as good as a linebacker as he is, he's not Ray Lewis.
No.
As good of a safety as Kyle Hamilton is, and Kyle Hamilton's an all-pro safety, he's not Ed Reed. And so I think, but again, to your point though, over the last couple games, we have gotten better. And in fact, if you look at every single statistical category within the last 2 months, the Ravens defense is in top 10 of most defensive statistical categories within that time frame. However, that doesn't neglect the fact that our defense was really bad at the beginning of the game, and our defense just happens to give up points late in games in the fourth quarter. Why is that?
Well,
that's
coaching
that's
decisions.
a Harbaugh thing.
That's coaching decisions
That is
without
a
a doubt.
thing. And I think that is something that has been a very big flaw of coaching for the Ravens and for John Harbaugh, which, to your point, makes him more fireable. Because if the Ravens, especially this game, if the Ravens take the lead and we blow it in the fourth quarter, you damn well be sure that is John Harbaugh's 13th game that he would blow with double-digit fourth quarter leads, and he'd probably be fired at that point because they would want to be
it's
like,
only 13. It was like 15 so far.
I saw 13. I could be wrong, but
let me look real quick.
But even still, that should not be a stat. That should not be a thing. It's been a constant within the last couple of years, and I've really seen it a lot more since in like 2021, 2022, and 2023. Since that time, since we have become in the Lamar era, that has been a trend. Whereas in years past, it was not before. What does the almighty Google say?
Hang on, looking it up now.
But that's a...
He has lost 8 double-digit leads in the second half since 2022.
8. Okay, so
that's 8 since 2022, mate. Not in his whole career.
Okay. That's still, again, that's really fucking bad. That's really fucking bad.
17. He has 17 double-digit losses since 1991.
Okay, gotcha. Since 91. And you know why it goes back to 91? Because it wasn't tracking the stats prior to that, too. So that is a reputation that Harbaugh is, as a coach, has, right? And it's the Ravens have to do everything in their power. The players have to do everything in their power to break that, to prove that wrong, right? And as, like, again, for the Steelers, too, the coaching flaw of Mike Tomlin is he hasn't won a playoff game in X amount of years. And the players are going to do everything in their power to break that, right? But, again, great head coaches, but they have their flaws to them, right? And I think for John Harbaugh, it's a lot of just decision-making, in-game decision-making, in real time. And we could see it happen, too, within the game. It's like, wait, why are we not running Derrick Henry? Oh, wait, why are we
not putting pressure on defense? Why are we doing this?
Why do we keep having all these flags and all these penalties that we're just not disciplined and prepared for? These have been trends with the Ravens. Whereas for the Steelers, it's like, look, again, they're great in the early season, but as the season goes on, a lot more players
they start limping to the finish.
They limp to the finish line, and like every practice is always on hard mode. And so that makes it for a long season, especially for the veterans. It's a long November and December in Pittsburgh. And
it's weird though that in like December we play our best football. It's weird. Mike Tomlin set a principle early on when he became a coach that no matter what's happening, we are going to unleash hell in December. I don't know what it is, but that has been a mantra for years, and it's still a thing.
But it hasn't been. That's the thing, though. The last couple of years, it hasn't.
We won 3 out of 4 games in the month of December.
But you didn't win the one that you needed to.
Right, but we still won 75% of our games in the month of December. That's what I'm saying. We still unleashed whatever we have to unleash in the month of December. Mm-hmm. We may have lost a critical game. Again, I'm not taking anything away from that. But the motor started in December. I don't know why that's a principle that needs to be set. Mm-hmm. But it's there, and it's still apparently running fucking strong, mm-hmm. that we unleash hell and we're fucking crazy physical during the month of December. But we need that all year. Exactly. And we need sustained all year. And just like the decision-making with you guys on field, the decision-making with Tomlin is questionable a lot. You know, just like when we were talking about the last time we were on air. The blown coverage, we were in fucking zone defense on a clear fly route. Why didn't we change? Why didn't we do this? Why when the fucking reporters stunted Tomlin? Like the decision makings on defense, you're a defensive minded coach. You should know that shouldn't have been a blown coverage like that. You should have known that you either should have called timeout or you should have done something different. You know, so both of these coaches, as good as they are, like you said, they're both Hall of Fame coaches. The decision making this year really puts them under a microscope.
Exactly. And I think that this game, because I think both teams as an organization are patient enough to keep them, but I think that
patience is wearing thin
the
for
patience
both.
is wearing thin for exactly. And that's the thing. And I think that we're going to really see that whoever loses this game, again, the lens of how we see that coach is probably going to change. For better, for worse, however the chips fall, but that's probably how it's going to be. And look, again, both Hall of Fame coaches, both excellent head coaches that we will see in Canton at one day. But in real time, right now, nothing else matters except this game. And the playoffs came early for both of these teams because it's win or go home. And it's like, look, despite everything that happened throughout this year, can be righted this game. For the Steelers, you get Aaron Rodgers to the playoffs. That would be a very successful season to at least get there, right, with Aaron Rodgers. How it falls there, we probably know how it ends there. But if he were to win a playoff game, right, that's even more of a success. For the Ravens to win the AFC North after starting 1-5, that would be a success that we probably did not even earn at that point. There's just so much riding on this one. And I know it's weird because we say it every year on the final game that these guys play. But it's just how it is because they're one and the same of one another, but just on different sides of the coin. And it's just another year in the AFC North.
I don't know, man. This year. I'm just so sick of limping to the finish. You know, in terms of Rodgers, right? I disagree. I don't think it'll be a success if we make it to a playoff game. This was an all-in season, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all in.
Yeah.
How is all in a one-off in the first round of the playoffs? How is all in a divisional round loss? You get one playoff win. How is that all in?
I think
the
playoff win will kind of blind a lot of people, though, if they are to do
it.
It
will, but not the real people who are listening to what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're actually, if you listen to what people are saying, that this is an all-in game, you fucking pick up Jalen Ramsey on defense. You do that. You pick up all these majorly expensive players. We are one of the most expensive defenses in the league. We're one of the most expensive teams in the league. And here we are struggling at just about every snap on every count. The decision-making is poor, been poor all year. We've been playing around it because Tomlin is overall a great coach. But the decisions he makes during the year and the decisions he makes when he puts on the other hat of not being a manager and helping Omar Khan with the management of the team, it's hurting. It's the same thing with Belichick. He's wearing way too many hats right now. You got to take one off and you got to just be the coach. Let the manager be the manager. Stop trying to fucking bring people in because the coaching regimes that you're bringing in, they're too conflictive. They're too conflicting as to what you're trying to aim as a message. You are a defensive-minded head coach. Arthur Smith is an offensive-minded coach. He has been head coach for years. He is now an offensive coordinator. His playbook is a lot more offensively aggressive than I think Tomlin is even close to used to and is even close to comfortable with. So he takes out 30% of Arthur Smith's playbook, and now you have the same thing that we always have, the little dink and dunk passes with one or two bombs over the top of the field and crazy run games. Mm-hmm. And we don't use 20% of our run scheme. We focus to the underneath passes to the tight ends until they get hurt, and then we focus to 10 yards and in with the 1-2 receivers till they get hurt, and then when the fly guys don't work anymore, we throw it over the top, and then we punt the ball away. That is the telltale schedule. The full timeline of how we play our game is we go from the line of scrimmage up the field to see what works. And then we go back, and then back up, and then back in terms of how we read the field and what works and what doesn't. And it's predictable, and it's very, very linear. There's no faking what you see coming from Pittsburgh. They line up, they say hike, and they get in the huddle, and they do a rinse and repeat for 3 hours straight. It's just what it is.
And it's funny because for years, you and I, we've talked. This is the fifth year on the show. We've talked Tomlin a lot. And I think with Arthur Smith, his playbook is generated on a zone run scheme.
Yes.
And however, we have talked prior to even Arthur Smith coming to the Steelers that Mike Tomlin is very quick to abandon the run and is something that's counterintuitive to what Arthur Smith is trying to do as an offensive coordinator. Again, last week against the Browns, they were more than willing to have Aaron Rodgers throw it for 39 times, nearly 40 times, and you ran it 20. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio of passing to running. Look, if that's how you want to live and die your offense, sure. But teams are going to know that. Teams are know that you're going to, like when it's 3rd and 6 or
you're passing the ball.
You're passing the ball. Simple enough, right?
Anything over 3 yards, you're passing the ball, and that's been for years now.
Yep. And it's like, look, Aaron Rodgers is the most dangerous when he's under center. When he's in shotgun and teams can like okay be like, oh, he's definitely passing the ball. They're going to look to contain him, and then look play whatever coverage they're playing. But he's the most dangerous when there's play action, that they bite on that, and he's able to just, that's the open man down the field, pinpoints it on a dime. And we've seen it before. Aaron Rodgers has not been the issue with this team throughout the course of the year.
No. He's doing everything a 40-year-old man can do.
And I gotta again commend him because he's playing a lot better than both you and I expected him to play. But he's not the issue. It's the willingness to abandon the run very quickly when things start to get rough, and boneheaded plays on defense, busted coverage, and then you pile injuries on top of that. You pile missed absences of players, i.e., DK Metcalf for whatever reason, and you set yourself up to not be the most successful in the most critical game of the year. And that's why it's so frustrating to see. By the way, Lamar's starting.
Wonderful.
Which isn't great to hear.
Doesn't surprise me none.
No, but
it's like wonderful. If there was any other heap of fucking bad luck that we needed, it's, oh, let's bring back this guy. Now, the only thing that I can hope for, which I doubt, is that Tomlin sees that as a reason to abandon the run, like he has for most of this year. When Lamar is on the field, Lamar has the ball. And as long as that mantra holds true, it's unfortunate that your offense is going to be at a crutch. It's going to be at a hindrance because you have one of the greatest running backs of all time in the backfield not getting the ball when Lamar Jackson's on the field. Now, I remember a couple of years back when you had J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, you had your full house package. Where's your full house package with Derrick Henry?
It's not there.
I have not seen a full house package ran from you guys once.
It's not. That's the thing. We don't do that anymore.
You don't have your full package because you don't have the pieces.
We don't have the pieces. You're right. I think that we have a different skill set of players that allow us to do different things. But to your point, Todd Monken, our offensive coordinator, he does not do that typically. And so he rotates out backs because, again, when Derrick Henry's on the field, teams have to game plan for Derrick Henry, right? When Derrick Henry and Lamar are on the field, you have to game plan for both. And I think that...
But I feel like that both precedent is being diluted because of just how much more often the ball is in Lamar's hands than Derrick Henry's hands.
Well, yeah, he's the quarterback. He's going to delegate everything. But to your point, I think that we are most successful when Derrick Henry is in the spotlight before Lamar. And Derrick Henry is the one dictating our offense more than Lamar is. Because not that Lamar is not trustworthy, but because of just how great Derrick Henry is as a running back and how he's able to see the hole and exploit teams' defenses. And if you're able to get Patrick Ricard to block for him, my God, that's a free 10 yards right there.
Right, and especially the big thing that puts Derrick Henry in front of Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is the way to get through adversity. You know, fucking Derrick Henry can have 3 fumbles in a game and still wind up with 200 yards and fucking 4 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson throws an interception, bad interception.
Yep, and he
starts playing frustrated. His game's over. His day's done.
Yep,
and you know it. It's quick.
Yep.
It happens just like that.
I see it. Constantly.
The minute that man makes a mistake, his head hits the floor and his day's done. Mm-hmm. That's maturity. That's maturity issues, man. And again, I understand the winter is the winter. People get sick in the winter. You gotta know to do the things that'll keep you away from getting sick during the winter. You gotta be able to. How every year, man, every winter you're getting sick in December. You play in Baltimore, it gets cold in Baltimore. You gotta know, do the proper things to not get sick in the fucking winter, man.
He needs to talk to Derrick Henry.
It's all maturity things, man. It's maturity. No, it's all maturity.
I think to your point on the sickness, I think that players, especially players of Lamar's caliber, right, you need to invest in your body in the offseason. Have a conversation with Derrick Henry. This man
his nutrition level is crazy.
His nutrition level, his offseason workouts, and just again, his strict diet and discipline has allowed him to be successful for a long period of time. And the only time we've seen Derrick Henry not on the field is when he's hurt, injured, like severely hurt. Other than that, he's on the field. And I think for Lamar, it's like, look, take care of your body, invest in your body, because this team is going to go as far as you go. And
Right.
that's the thing. And so it's like this whole team is predicated on Lamar. And if he is mentally defeats himself within a game, it's over. And I've seen it in real time before where it's like in the first quarter he makes a mistake and the rest of the game
It's
he
done.
plays tight. And I'm like, we're not winning this game. The last time I saw that was against the Bengals on Thanksgiving. And I knew for a fact we were not winning that game. Lamar just could not get outside of his head. And again, some mistakes weren't even his. Was it his fault that Isaiah Likely just, I mean, the defender really kind of got, helped get that ball out and fumbled in the end zone? That's not Lamar's fault. But look, you got to pick yourself up and try again.
You got to keep playing. The game's still going.
The game's still going. And look, this game on Sunday, it's going to be decided within 60 minutes. The team that plays for all 4 quarters and is able to play just their brand of football for 4 quarters, that's the team that takes the AFC North.
Well, at this point, it seems like you're the only team that has a brand of football to show on the field because of how much of a coin flip we are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? One day we come out, we're great on offense. One day we come out, we're great on defense. We're shit on the other sides. Like, there's been 3 games that I've been able to count on one hand how many times we've been out on the field where we're on the same page on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters out of an entire season.
Was one of those games against Detroit?
Yeah,
but
where everything was clicking.
At least they have shown that they could do that within recent time.
Yes, but it's the span of time where the inconsistencies are in between those 2 games. That's what hurts.
I know, because you look at Detroit.
You know, it may have. Right? You look at Detroit, and then you go back. It hasn't happened since it didn't happen for like another 5 weeks prior. You know what I'm saying? So it was like it happened once, a bunch of games where it happened where we're not on the same page, and then we're on the same page again, and then a bunch of games happen where we're not on the same page, and then we're on the same page again. It's like, so where are we now?
The last 2 weeks, right? You had that great game against Detroit 2 weeks ago, and then last week against Cleveland, and they look like 2 totally different teams.
So what happens now? Where we come into the most important game of a lot of these kids' careers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is the first of all, this is the first time Aaron Rodgers has played for something in longer than 2 years.
A meaningful
game. This is
yes.
first one in 2 years. So you think he's not going to have a little bit of jitters? Of course, he's a veteran. He knows how to compose himself.
He wanted this moment, though.
He wants this.
He wants this moment.
He's been living for this moment. He is a competitor. You can see it. He has that fire in him again. Mm-hmm. But again, he can only go as far as his body lets him. And he's still recovering from a fractured hand. He's still playing with a brace on. So he's not 100. People are banged up. People are hurt. Even if we win this game, my postseason hopes are very, very pessimistic.
I'll be honest,
as to how far we go.
I feel the same exact way.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if we win, it's like, I don't know if this team can win a playoff game.
Because you look at the wild card teams at this current point in time.
They all have 11 wins.
Yeah, they all have 11 wins, but who they are matters, right? You have the Bills, who sit at number 5 at the moment, which would
the Jags.
The Jags. No, I think the Jags have the division at the moment, but the Texans and the Chargers are also the wild card team. Again, it can all fluctuate there.
By Sunday, right?
The only 2 division winners are the Broncos and the Patriots in the AFC. All other the other 2 divisions are up in the air, and the wild cards they can fluctuate. But do I feel confident of Ravens and Steelers playing against, say, Buffalo or the Texans? Or the Jags, or maybe against the Chargers. I don't know.
But even still, that's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
They're all stretches. They're all stretches.
Because, again, like we were saying at the very beginning of the show, you can make an argument for any of these teams for how good they've been and why. And it's great to see the success. And it's funny, we've been saying for the last couple of years that the AFC is deep. It is deep in talent. But so far, the way it sits is that the Ravens and Steelers are kind of at the bottom of that.
We're at the bottom of that list, man. And now we're capable to beat each other. That's for sure. We can definitely beat each other. But in terms of the postseason, it's like both of us, we're going to walk in limping, and we're going to face a team that is ready to go.
And they're primed.
A lot of these teams are salivating at the fact that they get to play us week 1. One of us, week 1.
Yeah. Because it's like, look, the only 2 teams we're not going to play for certain are the Patriots and the Broncos.
Right. Any other team, it's up in the air.
And look, every other team in the AFC playoff picture has something to prove. The Chargers need to prove something with Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, right? They got to win a playoff game to prove that we are capable. The Jags, they want to prove to everyone, it's like, look, everyone counted us out, but here we are, resurgent. the Texans be like, yes, we are that team.
They fucking just hit their stride.
And they want to make it to their first ever AFC title game because they've never been. And the Bills, they are a must-win team. They're a team that's
they're in win now.
They are Super Bowl or bust. It is. They've been knocking on the door for years, and now that the Chiefs are out of it, they have no excuse at this point. So
you see that's the part that I don't agree with.
Excuse?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. And that's what fucks me up about the Bills. Mm-hmm. Because if they do get there, right, there will be an asterisk there. I mean, couldn't be. Mahomes wasn't there. You just said it. Well, there's already the asterisk. The asterisk is already there for their playoff run. This is their easiest bet now because the Chiefs aren't in. People have been saying, not you, it has been said, there's no Mahomes. There could not be a Lamar. There's no Joe Burrow. So who's the best quarterback that he's going to have to play? Justin Herbert or Drake May? So if he gets there and he wins, there will be an asterisk. He had no quarterback competition to play. And I hate that. I hate it because of the talent in the AFC that is there. He will still have the card stacked against him, against any team he fucking plays this year. I don't like the narrative of it's no excuse right now with him. Because now the talent gap, it's just not the Chiefs, it's every other team in the bracket now.
Oh, yeah. No, again, all the teams are extremely talented in the AFC, and they all deserve to be there, though. I don't think there's going to be an asterisk there. I know I said that, yes, the Mahomes is not there, but that's just, again, bringing the context of everything in there. Is his playoff run going to be easy? No, because of just how talented all the teams are. And so it's like, look, he's going to have to play against, again, probably either Ravens or Steelers. That's not necessarily easy, right? And then probably move on to the Patriots. And I'm just speculating, but the Patriots. And we've seen that they are a tough competition this year, right? And I think that when you look at every year of the playoffs, you have to take it in context, right? Where it's like, who's the best team in the AFC? For the last couple of years, it has been the Chiefs. But this year, that's not the case. So if the Bills have played the Ravens, Steelers, they play against the Patriots, they play against the Broncos, and then they play whomever in the NFC, I think that the asterisk is more so it's like how impressive it has been for the Bills to go through that adversity.
For those who aren't about a narrative, yes, for you and I, for sure, that will be one of the most impressive playoff runs that could be done because of the talent. The main precedent, I can feel it already, and I fucking hate it. It will be the only reason he got there is because he didn't have to face Joe Burrow, possibly Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It will be a precedent that is set across every fucking panel. Mark my fucking words. Mark my words.
It definitely will be on there for, like, say, the analysts, right? Because they want people's attention. They want to get people mad, right? They want people to be mad because they are more engaged into it. But I think that, look, if Josh Allen is to go on a playoff run and to do it without, say, Mahomes, Burrow, or Lamar, I think at that point, the context of everything matters. It's like, yeah, but Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar couldn't even get to that point that the Bills had this year. So
right, and I get that, but at the same, it's a narrative thing. It's there's always been these, but that's what I can't stand the. I don't know. I don't like where this is going with the Bills. If they win, I feel like there's going to be an asterisk. Oh, he didn't have to face the three that have been his Achilles heel for 3 years, for his entirety of the career. They weren't here, so he had, it's going to be, you had an easier run to get there because you didn't have your main plethora of competition at quarterback. I don't believe that for a fucking second. But that's going to be the narrative that is going to be said if they were to get there and win.
Probably. We can't control that, but I think, again, to that point, right? It's like, why Lamar, Joe Burrow, and the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have been there and been considered his competition, right? Because those have been the consensus, maybe not the Bengals in recent time, but like the consensus best teams in the AFC. They clearly were not the best teams in the AFC this year. So therefore, it's like they're not even in capable contention to do so. They could not even get themselves to that point. And again, I do agree with you. It is a narrative thing, but they are the team that has the most to win and the most to lose from the Super Bowl. Like if they make it to a Super Bowl, because all eyes are going to be on them every single game. And I promise you, once the playoffs start, the Bills are going to get every single primetime slot for those games if they go on a run. The wild card game, that's probably going to be whomever
425.
probably.
I think
But
that'll be a matinee game.
and then the divisional game, that's going to be the Sunday primetime of whomever. And then the AFC title game, that's going to be that Sunday primetime of whomever, if they are to make it that way. Speculating, of
Right.
course, but there's a lot to gain. All the glory and all the gold go to one, but there can only be one.
That's the truth.
And look, you got to be in the tournament to win it. And look, right now, we got two teams that want to be in it. So whomever emerges from this game, man, it's going to be a tall order going forward, but it is possible. But we shall see.
For sure.
That's why they play the games. But Chris Palmer, are you ready to make some picks for this upcoming week since we haven't made picks in a while? I have been keeping track, but I will post our standings, our total season standings once the season ends. But CP, let's make some picks, my friend.
Yeah. I'm just pulling up the games now. We got a fun slate this week.
Oh, yeah. So every single game is a divisional game. A lot of these games do have consequences, at least for one, if not both of these two teams that play, right? So we have two games on Saturday. And starting off, this is for the NFC title game. The Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So NFC South decided here. CP, who you got? It feels good to ask.
Give me Carolina, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
That's what I'm talking
One
about.
One more game. Steal this division. Make my bold prediction right, please.
I'm going Carolina too. I want to see them in it. I'm gonna be like, fuck it. Let's just see what they got. I'm going Carolina as well. So the second game on Saturday, Seattle Seahawks coming to play San Francisco. The winner wins the NFC West title and first seed in the NFC. Huge game. CP, who you got?
I want to see Sam Darnold, man. Give me Seattle.
I'm going San Francisco on this one.
Okay.
Not that I don't believe in Seattle, because Seattle has convinced me this year. It's more so specifically Sam Darnold has convinced me this year that he's that guy.
I hope that precedent is changed for everybody with
I hope
him.
so too. He made a believer out of me, I will say. Especially having the game of the year a couple weeks back against the Rams, were fantastic game. But the Niners have quietly been winning their games and winning them convincingly too,
while being riddled with injuries again.
Yep. And so if San Francisco wins, not only will they be first seed, but they'll be first seed to a home Super Bowl if they are to make it that far. There's a lot on the line. I'll take San Fran in this one. Let's move to Sunday's slate of games, starting in the AFC South with the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans, my friend. Who you got?
Give me Texans at home. They decided to start hitting a stride. That defense is disgusting, and CJ Stroud is hitting his wind when he needs to.
I like it. I'm going with the Texans as well. Again, they started off the season very rocky, but to be at this point and keep winning games convincingly because of that defense is impressive. So I'm going to take the Texans as well to beat the Colts. Let us go to Cincinnati, where we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals in the Ohio Bowl. Who you got, CP?
Give me Cleveland. I want to see Myles Garrett break the sack record, and I want it to be on a win.
I was actually thinking about that too. I'll take Cleveland to beat Cincinnati as well. How many sacks do you think he gets this game?
One. He just gets one.
Just the one?
Yeah, teams have been hyper-focusing him to not let him break that sack record. I think the Bengals are going to try to do the same thing, and they're going to fail by one.
Oh, Bengals.
Or he's going to go off and he's going to get like 4, and he's going to shatter the record.
That'd be fucking impressive to see. I would love to see that. Let's go to Atlanta, where we have the Saints coming to play the Atlanta Falcons. CP, who you got?
I don't know why part of me is saying pick the Saints in an upset, man. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go with Saints. They're going to end the season on a win streak.
I'm going with the Saints as well, actually.
It's fucking weird.
Again, like, since Tyler Shaw came, I was like, oh,
there's a pulse in New Orleans, man.
But I mean,
they have fucking 6 wins.
Atlanta's also, like, again, I can't get a pulse on them because it's like, fuck, they beat the Rams last week, but yet they lose to the Panthers, and it's like, what the fuck's going on?
Panthers are a playoff team, bro. Don't sleep.
They can be a playoff team. So,
they're playoff caliber, not playoff bound.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. But I'll take the Saints on an upset here. There's a pulse there. Okay, let's move to Minnesota, where we have the Green Bay Packers coming to play the Minnesota Vikings. Who you got?
Green Bay should have no problem beating the shit out of this team.
I think I'm going to go Minnesota on this one, just for the upset.
Okay.
I don't know. Some part of me is telling me to go Minnesota. Can't tell you why. I have no idea, but I'm going to go Minnesota on this one. But let's move to Jacksonville, Tennessee Titans coming to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to take the Jags. I'm guessing you're going to take the Jags as well.
Is Trevor Lawrence playing?
I believe so.
If the starters are playing, then Jacksonville's going to win.
Well, they do have, again, if they win this game, and depending on how, the Broncos and Patriots go, Jags could be the number 1 seed. So
they need to win this game.
They do, but
Yeah.
it starts with winning this game, though. So there's a lot to play for. Don't sleep on me yet, man. We got some more games real quick. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming to play the New York Giants. Who you got?
Give me the Giants. The Giants are dumb enough to win a second straight.
I'll take the Cowboys on this one. Maybe the Giants just don't want to win any more games. They look at their coach.
I just don't think they want a good draft pick.
Probably not, but I'll take the Cowboys to beat the Giants. Let's move to Los Angeles, where we have the Cardinals coming to play the Rams at SoFi Stadium. CP, who you got?
Give me the Rams, and it's going to be a pronouncing win.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams as well. They've been very dominant at home, and again, Matt Stafford, and playing MVP caliber football. Despite losing last week, the Rams still are a very, very dangerous team. Let's go to Las Vegas, where we have the Kansas City Chiefs coming to play the Las Vegas Raiders. Who you got?
It's bad that I'm not totally confident in Kansas City with this game.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Kansas City, but I am going to be taking a very close look at Ashton Genty on the last week. He has really been starting to showcase himself come the back end of this year. So I'm going to take a closer eye on him.
I'm the same way. I'm going to take Kansas City as well. More so, I think the Raiders have embraced the tank. Last week, they told Max Crosby would not be starting. He did not start. He did not like that.
He left the facility and came back with a knee injury.
Yeah. So
after playing basketball all day.
So I think I'll take Kansas City. More so, I think, because Vegas really wants to lose.
Yes.
Let's move to Philadelphia, where we have the Washington Commanders coming to play the Eagles, whose defense has really picked up as of late. But CP, who you got?
Give me Philly, but that offense still scares me. They have not gotten on the same page once all year. So it's going to be Philly, but it's only because Washington is just worse.
I'll take Philly as well. But to your point, last week when they played against the Bills, they only had 7 yards of offense in the second half. So Philly, their problem is not only offense, but it's also second half offense. So that's a big problem that they really need to fix before the playoffs, because they clinched their division. I don't expect the starters to play. Despite that, I think Philly's still going to beat the Commanders. Let's go to New England, where we have the Dolphins coming to play the Patriots. I'm going Patriots. I'm guessing you're going Patriots as well.
Yeah, not going to think too much on this one. I think the decider of this game and the Rams game is going to decide who the MVP is.
I can agree with that. And I would hope, at least in my opinion, it's Matt Stafford. I wouldn't be mad if it's Drake May, but I'd take Matt Stafford over Drake May.
Again, I would give Matt Stafford the MVP and give Drake May probably most improved.
And I think that is a fair thing to do. Absolutely. Let's go to Chicago, where we have Dan Campbell trying to bite the knee off Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. Does Ben Johnson just say fuck you to Dan Campbell and beat him in Chicago? CP, what do you?
I don't know.
What do you say?
I'm going to go ahead and say Detroit wins this game. Got to remember, Ben Johnson came from Dan Campbell.
Exactly. Yep.
So you may know everything you know. You don't know everything I know.
I'm going to take Chicago on this one.
Hey, that's a good argument.
Look, typically I like the master over the apprentice, but I think that, again, Chicago's team right now, they are just clicking on all cylinders.
They really are.
And I've been impressed with them, and over the last couple weeks they've been turning me into a believer as well. Okay, let's go to Denver, where we have the Los Angeles Chargers coming to play the Denver Broncos. Still a lot on the line on this one. This should be a very good game to see. Even though Denver already has the AFC West locked up, Chargers are still playing for seeding, and Denver is still playing for that first overall seed. So there's a lot riding on this one, but CP, who you got?
I think I'm going to take Denver. And if there was truly, I'm not saying it's probable, but I am going to see if they can break that team record. 8 sacks is a tall order. But when you're playing the offensive line that's let your quarterback get sacked the most times with 52 this year, I think this team can have a field day.
It's so 8 sacks to tie, 9 to break it.
8.5 to break.
8.5 to breaks, correct. Absolutely. I'll take Denver to beat them, but I think this is going to be a very, very low-scoring game where the defense of both teams are really going to dictate how the game is played. So I'll take Denver to beat the Chargers, but man, we're gonna see the Chargers in the playoffs regardless. Let's move to the New York Jets coming to Buffalo to play Buffalo. I'm guessing we're both going Buffalo on this one.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn's going to set himself on fire and then dance his way down the sidelines.
Which was probably their best highlight of all season.
It's the best highlight in 10 years from the Jets. It's
Easily.
easily the best highlight in a decade.
Oh my god. Which leads us to
He's running like he's fucking on fire.
he does run. But he's got rhythm to it though. Like he's got the rhythm in him. So.
You want to know what's terrible? He's running to the rhythm of Renegade.
No, but like we see that with like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember?
Yeah, I could see him with a trumpet in his hand. He's like a backup trumpet player running that way.
I love it. Which leads us to the final game of the regular season. Baltimore Ravens coming to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Everything on the line. Everything that we discussed. And again, there's probably a lot more that we could have talked about. But CP, money, all the chips in front of the table. Who you got?
I'll never not put money on my team. Round 2. I'm sorry, my friend. We are sweeping you this year. Sorry, you're going to go home. I hope your seat's warm over in Cancun. I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Now, wait. I gotta ask, from me to you, man. Is it because you have the loyalty of the Steelers that you're picking them, or do you genuinely think that the Steelers, despite all their injuries and despite all their problems, you think that they could still win this game?
It's like a hybrid of both. I think we can outcoach you.
I don't disagree with that because
I think we can outcoach you, and because of that, the product on the field will turn in our favor.
Okay. And again, I don't disagree with you on that because Mike Tomlin, he prepares for Baltimore exceptionally well. He understands Lamar very, very well. And it was up until last year that Tomlin has pretty much had Lamar's number and John Harbaugh's number for an exorbitant amount of
most
years.
of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But last year was kind of like the breaking of the cycle. I got to go with my Ravens, man.
I wouldn't expect any otherwise.
Again, I think for me, this was very dependent on Lamar.
Lamar playing.
Yeah. Because, look, I would love every single game, even with Lamar in there, that we give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times.
It's just not happening.
John Harbaugh doesn't seem to like that philosophy for whatever reason. But I think, nevertheless, we are at our best when Lamar is on the field. And we're even better than that when Derrick Henry and Lamar are on the field. Hopefully the defense doesn't give up the points late in the game. But we got to have faith.
Hell yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. Playoffs right around the corner. Last week of the season. There's our picks. Please leave a like, a comment, and please subscribe to the page so we can keep the entertainment going. This is going to be a fun week. There's some great games on the slate, but the best one is in prime time. Steelers-Ravens round 2 for the AFC North, baby. Until next week, hope everyone enjoys the week.